Senku just said this. Senku and Ryusu just said the same thing. I have actually been wondering for a while now if they really are gonna make bread, because even if they can farm it, which also takes a little time, I'm still wondering they cannot make the refined taste that we of the modern people because they're not chefs. They need to wake up a pro chef. However, the thing is, I thought Senku said they no longer had any revival formula, right? So how are they gonna wake up a pro chef? Well, I basically spoiled the entire chapter, but this is the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, and this is Dr. Stone, chapter 91. In order to have long distance travel, they need to have bread, as it's part of the story. So they gather up as many of the wheat they can, and well, take up the leaves, which will be good for farming. But they need to farm it where somewhere because sowing it near the village will be difficult because the mountains and the drainage will make that an issue. So Taiju will have to be the one to do it. We also found out one stone man who is actually recognizing him as one statue as his old man. So uh, uh, so but Yuzihara is the one who says that once the surface becomes too worn, they can't be fixed, even though reviving them too quickly, there won't be enough food. But Kohaku managed to get to the team. I don't know how she did that, but she is who she is. It's pretty strange though that no one is actually saying her name when she appears, but she appears in her sexy self with a lot of wheat and saying that this is how they will make food supply for themselves. Taiju with his gorilla strength begins to create a little bit of the field, while Yuzihara has created a farmer's hat. So of course, the guy that is the silver tongue guy begins to say that the crown of the food leader, while pulling reverse psychology, is saying like the one who's the best field will become the best. Will become the best farmer. Of course, Yuzihara would normally be very scared about Gen's psychological manipulation, but there's two guys who are willing to work very hard when they are actually motivated by greed, and that is Magma and Yo. So, of course, the one who works the entire night, that's none other than Taiju, because, well, he has limitless stamina. Those kind of guys are rare in the world, but he is the strongest contender for a farmer. And we finally is actually getting a little glimpse into his past. This was actually foreshadowed all the way into the first chapter, but now it is actually confirmed. His parents died when he was very little, so he could never really meet his family. We don't know how they died, but in the very first chapter, Tayu said, "My parents who my dearly departed parents." So I mean, that was a confirmation that yes, his parents are dead. But now we're finding a confirmation that indeed they did die. It's not exactly known though who raised Taiju until now, but that does make sense a little bit why Taiju is so loyal to those people that are his friends. He is an incredibly lonely guy, and he just wanted to be useful. And being useful is, and for them, and being useful prove that they can become a family. And for him, Senku and Yusara is his family. So he's saying that if even if he can't meet his family, he will make sure everyone else meet their family because we are gonna produce a mountain of food and the world will be resurrected. And so the next day, Tayu's field has really grown big, but Magmas and Yos have not. Uh, and this so Taiju fuels them a little bit with ground up shells, saying something like and remembers how Senku talked about lime sends those hydrogens flying, in other words, level up soils. So, so with that, we see how the fields goes, and uh, and they're gonna test the conditions of the soil. Take some morning glory and wash across it, and soak it with some paper on it. and when you put the paper in magma soil, it turns red, and while Senku's turns violet, meaning that it wasn't like there were Magma and Joe were bad farmers. It's apparently so that the wheat they got was just not the wheat that grown into what they needed. You can't raise wheat in acidic soil. It was basically their soil that was like that. So 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 they neutralized it. So I mean, sorry, Taiju neutralized it with lime. So they don't know really what type of wheat it is, but they are only getting this way with trials and error. But slowly and slowly the wheat field is gathered, and so they try to begin to cook bread. Of course, the stone world people like it, but the modern people do not. For them, it's just burnt bread, because well, the modern people's tongue are too refined. But I guess now we can also assume where Taiju is going to be in the new world, in the new Stone Age. He is the main farmer, giving us limitless stamina. So I mean, even Ukyo is saying that it's possible for something to be so awful and miserable you starve to death. I learned that in survival training. So so it's truly is an awful bread for them that will make them kick the bucket, and it's not enough to them to go on the expeditions. So they harmonize that they need to wake up a chef. However, as I said before, didn't Senku just say that this is the last of the revival formula? How are they gonna find more? And more than that, they need to get a pro chef. I mean, granted, the reporters should know a pro chef. And again, I'm pretty surprised Tsukasa didn't revive a pro chef, but then again, he didn't want to have modern people, and modern chef would probably been too modern, so maybe that's why. But they do need a chef. I said that before in actually last week's chapter. Even if they have the food supply, that doesn't mean they can cook it because they are not chefs. So they will need a real chef. And I'm glad that they're gonna try that, but how are they gonna wake up one? With the bat drippings, they're gonna have to find another formula. Well, the expedition to the next world are gonna have to take some time. Either way, it was a pretty heartwarming chapter anyway, because of Taiyu's dedication. I think we can assume that Taiyu is a farmer in the new world, or new age, because he's just that strong. Give me your thoughts if you have any.